Hello and welcome. Today I am going to play Ebro 1939, a game about the decisive battle of the Spanish Civil War fought in the second half of the 30s between Spanish nationalists and the Spanish Republicans. And at the spring of 1938, this war was reaching its decisive point. Nationalists managed to separate the territory controlled by the Republicans into two separate areas. And it was very clear for everyone that if they will manage to keep it, then they will eventually win, sooner or later. To change this situation, Republicans prepared their biggest offensive during this war, and this offensive was later known as the Battle of Ibro. Republicans' goal was to destroy nationalist units on the line of the river Ebro, and then to capture the city of Gandesa, and then move forward to join both separated areas of the Spain controlled by the Republicans. This offensive started with some significant successes of the Republican forces, mostly because they engaged most of their best units and most of their tanks, artillery and resources. They drove nationalists backwards, and their best units, mostly consisting international brigades, which were grouped here, reached Gandesa. But it was the end of the Republican successes. General Franco, commander of the Nationalist forces, quickly started to move his units in this area, and it turned out into a very bloody battle around Gandesa, where both sides suffered heavy losses, but Nationalists eventually managed to keep the city in their hands. Also, Nationalist bombers started to attack bridges on the river of Ebro, effectively cutting supply for the units fighting on the other side of the river. And finally, after a long and bloody struggle, Nationalists started to gain advantage and to push Republicans back onto their initial positions. So, the battle was a minor success of the Republicans. Because of this battle, Franco had to engage most of his units in this area, and he couldn't run any other operations he wanted to. But Republicans failed in their goal because they weren't able to join together both parts of the Spain controlled by their government. They also suffered extremely heavy losses, mostly in their best units. And because of that, they weren't able to prepare any other operations like this during the war, so it was the beginning of the end of the Republican Spain. So, here we have the game about this battle, and this is the game released by the Polish company TIS in their Great Battles 1939-1945 system. And this is a pretty easy system, I would say, not much complex. I showed this before in this channel, so I don't think I need to talk much about rules. Maybe something during the game, but this game comes with some new stuff that wasn't used in this system before, so I will talk about this a bit. But first, the game comes with four scenarios. First one, which is here, is the beginning of the offensive with Republican units at their initial positions, Franco's forces at their initial defensive positions, and the offensive is about to begin. A second scenario, titled Gandesa, is about the Battle of Gandesa itself. A third scenario is about Nationalists' counter-offensive. And finally, the fourth scenario is a kinda alternative scenario where Republicans have even more stronger units at the beginning of the game, but they don't get any reinforcements. They are just putting everything on the stake and they cannot get any other help during the battle. So, let's talk about new rules. First one, and most important, are bridges. At the beginning of the game, all the bridges on the river of Ebro are destroyed. During the game, in his movement phase, a Republican player is able to place a bridge counter on any hex that contains a bridge, for example here. Let's place it, for example here. But if such a bridge is destroyed, it is removed from the game for good. There are two kinds of bridges: light and heavy. A light bridge contains only infantry icon. The heavy bridge contains artillery, cavalry and mechanized icons. This means that you can use a light bridge only for the infantry movement, and heavy bridge for if you want to move your artillery, cavalry or mechanized units through the Ebro. Like I said, there is a limited number of these bridge counters, and especially if you play the campaign game with all scenarios joined together, one after another, then you will soon find that you might run out of these bridge counters. When you play a single scenario, like I'm going to do it here, then it is a small chance that you will run out of them. Franco's player would have to be extremely lucky with his Air Force rolls to destroy all of them. I don't think this might happen, but if you play all the scenarios together, then you may find that you don't have enough of them to make all your units crossing Ebro as quick as possible. Next, about reinforcements, and for the Republican forces first. They have 4 infantry divisions and 1 cavalry regiment as reinforcements. They are not entering the game during any certain turn, but when a Spanish player suffers at last 2 step losses, then he may introduce 1 brigade, because each brigade has two steps. So if you lose 2 steps of your units, you might introduce one of your brigades. And they are entering from the south part of the board, or maybe I should say from the eastern part of the board, because this board has north-south orientation. I placed this in this way because it will be much easier for me to record the entire battle. But if you have enough space on your table, you should place this board like that, because this is how all the writings are, all the tables are, and so. Next thing, which is quite new in this game, is the allowance to divide Republicans' brigades. When you take your brigade, for example, let's take this brigade, you can see this. It has 8 strength points. If you want, you can divide this brigade into 4 battalions. If you want to do so, you have to take this unit, place it here, or there, or there, or there, and then take 4 battalions counters with their strength matching to the unit strength. So, for example, this unit has 8, so we have to take 4 battalions with the strength of 2. But if this unit would be 4, then we would have to take 4 battalions with the strength of 1. I don't think this rule comes very in handy in this particular scenario, but it is much useful later in the further scenarios. And the next thing I am going to talk about is Nationalist Air Force. In this game we have only bombers. We don't have Air Force that can support your combat. We have bombers only, and their goal is to attack bridges on the Ebro or to attack enemy units, to disorganize them. Finally, victory points. I would say that this game comes with some interesting victory points conditions, especially for nationalists. As for Republicans, they are quite easy. Republicans get 1 victory point for each city or town on the other side of the Ebro which comes into their hands. They win instantly if they capture Gandesa. So this is not something very complicated. But when it comes to the nationalists, this is another cup of tea. Because nationalists get a victory points for not introducing their reinforcements. You can see here on the turns track there is a lot of nationalist forces. They are entering the game almost in every turn and they can be a real game changer. But for every 8 points of strength of this unit that nationalist player decides not to use, he gains 1 victory point. Also, this is also true for the bombers. So for each 8 points of bombers, he gets 1 victory point. So the question is, if a nationalist player wants to get all of his units and get less victory points, or he wants to use only part of them and get more victory points. And you may ask why. You may ask why it is something like this. Because this expresses the situation that happened during this battle. Franco's forces were fighting on the other fronts of this war as well, and the fact that that Republicans attacked in such a fierce way forced him to move some of his units from the other parts of the war to the Ebro. So, if he wants, he can keep all these units on the other parts of the front and to keep his other offensive operations and so. And then he gets victory points because of that. Or, if he wants, he can take all of them here, smash the Republicans completely, but he won't get much of the victory points. Also, he might get instant victory as well, but to do so, he has to drive Republicans back on the other side of the Ebro, which could be very, very hard. So that's about the special all the special rules of this game and the victory conditions. We can start the battle. This is not a very long scenario. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 turns, so it should be quite quick. Like I said before, it is the best to play all these scenarios together, especially scenario 1 and 2, because they are day after day. I mean, scenario 1 ends at 31st of July and scenario 2 starts with 1st of August. So they are they can be easily linked together, and then you can find that the game goes much more interesting. But as for today, I am going to play scenario first only. Okay, let's start our game. Now, before we will start, let's take a look on the board. You can see that terrain is quite rough. We have a lot of hills, woods and hills, mountains, and there is an Ebro on the way, which is major river. And there is some there is a road net here, so you can tell that our movement will be mostly focused on the roads. And if we would be able, as Republicans, to capture Gandesa, then we would be victorious. And so let's start. I placed some of the bridges here, so I will be able to use them, I hope so, but I have to win more of the positions on the other side of the river to prepare most of my bridges to use. Okay, let's start here. Now I will start with this brigade, and this is a secondary road, and secondary road costs a half of movement point for entering. So 1, and I have to stop here because there is enemy zone of control on this hex. Now this brigade is going to use its maximum movement. This means you can always enter adjacent hex as long as it's not a prohibited terrain. So I am moving here. I can remove these fortifications counters. Next, I have some more of my units here, including some of the Republican tanks. These were mostly Soviet ones, and they are on the main road, so they have to spend 1/3 of the movement point. So 1, 2, 3. They are moving here. I hope they will be useful. And as for these two units, there is a cavalry regiment and tank company. I'm going to use a reserve movement. This is a special rule that allows you to keep your units unmoved and then move them after all the combats are resolved. So this comes in handy if I will be able to drive this cavalry away. Next, I'm going to move my headquarters here, then this artillery. 1, 2, and it returns into the firing position. Now, this brigade moves here, and then let's go here. This brigade enter this hex. This brigade enters this hex. They will be attacking here. Attacking through the Ebro halves your strength, so it might be quite painful. Next, I will try to drive these nationalists away from this place. So 1, 2, 1, 2. This artillery moves here. You can always move your artillery one hex without changing its chic, so it is quite useful. And then I will give these tanks reserve movement option as well. Finally, I will move this brigade here, and then in this part of the battle, what I'm going to do, I will use not sure. I thought about using my maximum movement entering this hex, but this could be a problem. So I'm not going to do so. I will move this artillery here and this infantry 1, 2, 3, 4, because these are the hills, so they have to spend 2 movement points for moving through the hills. So I think that's all. And now let's go and check combat. First here, I have 8, 10, and 18 plus 4, 22. It's 22 against 2, so it's 11 to 1. So maximum odds are 10 to 1. So we can't go any further. And then let's check modifiers for defender. Why not for the attacker? Because we already have maximum odds, so we can't go. We can't get more. So we have 10 to 1. Then we get 9 to 1 because there is fortification. We get 8 to 1 because there is woods, and 7 and 6 to 1 because there are hills. So we have 6 to 1 as the total final odds. We have to make a roll. It's 9. 9 with the 6 to 1 is B2 and the dot. What it means? B2 means that defender has to retreat 2 hexes. So 1, 2, and when he retreats a blast of 2 hexes, he has to go through the disorganization check. As for the nationalist units, disorganization comes if they will roll 10, 11 or 12. Oh, just like here. So they are disorganized. Let's mark them with disorganization counter. And now we have to make disorganization checks for the defender, because there was a dot in the combat results table. So let's go first for this group. We are rolling for each stack. So first for this stack, they are fine. Now for this brigade, they are fine. So we can make a pursuit. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that's all. Next battle goes here. We have 7 against 2, so it's 3 to 1. 4 to 1 because of the commander, so it's 4 to 1. And now we have 3 to 1 because of the fortification, 2 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, and 1 to 1 because of the town. So the total odds are 1 to 1 and a 9. No, this is not a very good result. This is -1 for the attacker. So the attacking unit suffers 1 step loss. Not good. Alright, let's go south. We got 8. We got 4 because they are attacking to the Ebro. So we have 12. And we have artillery support of 5. So we have 17. We have 17 and they get their artillery support as well. This artillery has strength of 2 when supporting defense. So we have 17 against 4. So it's 4 to 1. It is 4 to 1. Then it is 3 to 1 because of the fortification, 2 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, and then 1 to 1 because of the town. So it's 1 to 1. Let's make a roll. It is 5. 5 in the 1 to 1 is B1 and the dot. So defender has to retreat 1 hex. And then we have to make a disorganization rolls for the attacker. First for this brigade, they are fine, and then for this brigade, they are fine. So they can enter this hex. Okay, now they don't have to attack because there is an Ebro on the way, and major rivers nullify zone of controls. You have to attack all the enemy units that are in your zone of controls, as long as your units are not fortified. So this cavalry is fortified, so it wouldn't have to attack enemy units even if there would be no Ebro, but since there is Ebro, it doesn't have to attack either. So let's go and make a combat here. All these units have their strength halved, so they have 4, 8 and 12, and this artillery provides us with 8 strength points, so we have 20. We have 20 against 2, and this artillery support of 2, so we have 20 against 4. So it's 5 to 1. We have 5 to 1, and then we get 6 to 1, because this we have 3 units of the same division. If we have 3 units of the same division, we get another column shift. So we have 6 to 1. We have 7 to 1 because of the commander, and then we have 5 to 1 because of the fortification, 4 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, 3 to 1 because of the town, 2 to 1 because of the hills, and 1 to 1 because of the hills. So the total odds are 1 to 1. You can see that our strength is pretty big, but even so, there is 1 to 1. So let's make a roll. It is 5 again. So it's B1. Defender retreats 1 hex. That's pretty good. So we are able to make our way on the other side of the Ebro. That's great. And it was no. First we have to make a disorganization check. Wow, we passed. So now we can go through the Ebro. If they would be disorganized, they wouldn't be able to pursue the enemy. Okay, now here we have 4, 8, and 12, and 12. So we have 12 against 2, so it's 6 to 1. 7 to 1 because of the 3 units of the same division, and 8 to 1 because of the commander. So it's 8 to 1, 7 to 1 because of the fortification, 6 to 1 because of the fortification in the town. In the town, 6 to, sorry, oh, I failed. It was 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1. Now it is 7 to 1 because of the fortification, 6 to 1 because of the fortification in the city. It is city, not a town. Then we get 5 to 1, 4 to 1 because of the city, and 3 to 1, 2 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 2 to 1. You can tell that attacking through the Ebro is not an easy thing to do. And it is 6. It is B2. So they have to retreat 2 hexes, 1, 2, and then they have to go through the disorganization check. They made it. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay. And the last combat is here. We have 4 and 5, so it's 9. 9 against 2, it's 4 to 1. 3 to 1 because of the fortification, 2 to 1 because of the woods, 1 to 1 and 1 to 2 because of the hills. So it's 1 to 2. Now this is going to be roof. Oh no. 1 to 2 and 8, it is A1. So attacker has to retreat 1 hex. Okay, that's all when it comes to the combat. And now we have to check if any of our units are out of supply. Oh, sorry, first thing first. We have some reserve movement to do. First here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4. It is important to remember that we cannot enter enemy zone of controls during this reserve movement. So now I think they will move here as well, or maybe not. I will move them here. Why? To protect these important crossroads. Next, here, well, they don't have much to do. I can only move them here. Okay, that's all. Now we have to go through for the supply phase. And now all the units here are in supply. These guys are not. Why? Because there is an Ebro and there is no bridge here, and here and there are enemy zone of controls, so they cannot get a supply from this road because both of these hexes are in the zone of control of this battalion. So because of that we have to mark these units are out of supply with the level of 1. Not a very big problem for now, but it might be a problem later. These guys have supply because we have a bridge here and they carry a supply to each other. And now this brigade, it cannot get a supply from here, neither from here, so they have to get out of supply marker with the level of 1 as well. Okay, so that's all when it comes to the Republicans. We can go into Nationalists. Important thing to remember is that when you spend all your movement points on the same hex, you can fortify your units again. But when your unit was forced to retreat during the later combat phase, then it cannot fortify itself. So what are we going to do with Nationalists? They don't get any reinforcements in this turn. They get some of them in the further turns. So they have to fight with everything they have now. So they cannot fortify themselves because they had to retreat. So 1, 2, 3. That's what I'm going to do. They have to retreat. They were forced to retreat as well. So 1 and 2. And this artillery, they are taking these fortifications because they can take the fortification of the other unit, which was here. And this artillery moves back. 1, 2, 3. That's all. Now here. This artillery withdraws. 1. And they enter this fortification. So you can tell that my goal as nationalists is to slow enemy down as much as possible. This won't be an easy thing, because at the beginning Republicans are quite strong and nationalists are not, but I have to do my best. Of course, the critical point is Gandesa. If Republicans will be able to capture it quickly, then it will be a disaster. So we have to move at last some of our units there as soon as possible. We have an entire brigade, a battalion, and a headquarters here. As for the infantry units on the main road, it is 1/3 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Still not enough to reach Gandesa. I will move the entire stack there, along with commander. I have a battalion here that I might reach Gandesa. 1, 2. Alright. So we have at last 2 battalions there, with one which is heavy machine guns battalion. You can tell by this icon here. And when you are when it is defending against infantry units, all these infantry units have their strength halved. So it's pretty good. Okay, that's all when it comes to this part of the front. And now this part is pretty static usually, because these Republican units are not strong enough to drive these nationalists away, and nationalists are just there is just enough of them to keep this line, but not make any movements. So that would be all when it comes to... Oh no, not all. I forgot. Now these guys are disorganized, and to reorganize them, I would have to move them somewhere far from the enemy, because they have to spend the entire turn without moving or fighting. So I will move them here. Hope they will be fine. Okay, that's all when it comes to nationalists. I don't have any stuff more to do. They are not attacking anywhere. No, they are not. So this concludes turn 1. Okay, let's start turn 2, and I am starting with my Republicans. I suffered no losses, so I cannot enter any of my reinforcements, but I can place bridges. I will place one bridge here. It is going to be heavy bridge, and one heavy bridge goes here. So my tanks and artillery will be able to use it. And that's all when it comes to bridges, I think. Yes, I think that's all. Now I should do something to make me easier to remember what's going on. There are camouflage markers added to this game, so when you play against another human player, you can place them on your units, and then enemy player won't be able to see which units you have here, as long as they are not adjacent to your units. But in this single player game, I will place them on the captured towns to remember which towns were captured by the Republicans, because it's pretty important to check for the victory points. So that's all for now. We can go and continue our offensive. Alright, first thing first, we go here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This cavalry will take this place. These tanks will move here. This headquarter, 1, 2, 3, 4 goes here. This artillery, 1, 2, 3, 4 goes here. This infantry, oh, they suffered 1 step loss, alright. So this is important for us to remember. This infantry retreats here. Now 1, that's all. These guys are out of supply. Because of out of supply, they have their strength halved every time they are attacking. So we have to remember about it. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I am destroying this artillery with my tanks. How? When you are entering the hex, when there is a lone enemy artillery unit without any other units, you can spend another movement point and just eliminate such artillery unit. So this might be helpful. This tank will go here, and now this artillery, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same goes to this artillery. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And this headquarter goes like that. Okay, I think, well, I might try here again with 2 of my brigades, so they will be stronger. And I think that's all when it comes to the combat, to the movement. Let's go with combat. Here, all these units are attacking. No, sorry. I thought they are all infantry units, but I think they are not. So this is infantry unit. So it has its strength halved because of the machine guns. So it has 4. These are tanks, so they don't have to halve their strength. So they have there is 6, and there is infantry, so it's 10. So it's 10 against 4. It's 2 to 1. We have 3 to 1 because of the commander, and we don't get a column shift for tank because enemy is fortified, and you get a column shift for tanks marked as this star only when enemy is not fortified. So we get 10 against 4, it's 2 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the commander, 2 to 1 because of the nationalist commander, 1 to 1 because of the fortification, 1 to 2 because of the fortification in the city, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 because of the city, and these are maximum negative odds. So it's 4 to 1. Let's make a roll. It is 3. This is a very good result, but in this column this is -1 for the attacker. So that's bad. I would need much more units to attack Gandesa, and it might be quite hard. Now here, this nationalist battalion is effectively surrounded. We have 7, 9, and 16. 9 plus 16 is 28. Against 2 it's 10 to 1. Then we have 9 to 1 because of the fortification, 8 to 1 because of the woods, 7 to 1, 6 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 6 to 1. It is 10. 10 in the 6 to 1. It is B2. So they have to retreat 2 hexes, and they cannot, because all the hexes are in the enemy zones of control, or are controlled by the enemy, and you cannot retreat to the enemy zone of control. So this battalion is eliminated. And because of that, this hex can be occupied by Republicans. Okay, next battle goes here. We have 2, 6, 10, and this unit has their strength halved because of the out of supply, so we have 10, 14, 18 and 22. We have 22 against 2 and 4. So it's 22 against 4, so it's 5 to 1, 6 to 1 because of the 3 units of the same division, 7 to 1 because of the commander, 6 to 1 because of the fortification, 5 to 1 because of the woods, 4 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 3 to 1, and it's 5. It is B2 and the dot. They have to retreat 2 hexes, and went to go through the disorganization check. They passed. Now we have to do the same check for the attacker because of the dot next to the result. So first for the tanks, they passed, and then for the infantry, they passed. So we can go and make our pursuit. You can destroy artillery during pursuit as well, but you can enter a hex with such artillery. Alright, next battle goes here. We have 17 against 2. So it's 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the commander, 7 to 1 because of the woods, 6 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 6 to 1, and the 6, it is B3. So defender has to retreat 3 hexes, 1, 2, 3, and if they retreat 3 hexes, they have to go through the 2 disorganization checks. So 1, they passed, and the other, they passed. And now 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next battle goes here. We have 8 against 2. It is 4 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the commander, 4 to 1 because of the fortification, 3 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, and 2 to 1 because of the town. So it's 2 to 1 and a 9. 2 to 1 and the 9 is -1 B1. So attacker suffers 1 step loss, and the defender has to retreat 1 hex. Okay, one last battle. We have 4 and 4, which is 8, and 8 plus 5 is 13. 13 against 2 is 6 to 1, so we have 6 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the fortification, 4 to 1 because of the woods, 3 to 1, 2 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 2 to 1 and a 5. It's pretty good. It is B2 and the dot. So 1, 2. Disorganization check for cavalry. They passed. And now we have to make such a check for the attacker as well. 7, 1, 2. Alright. I will pursue it in this way. And now we have to go through the supply phase. We don't have any strategic movement. No, we don't have to. So let's go. This unit is in supply now. So they are fine. These guys are in supply as well. and they are not. So these units are marked as out of supply. And I think that's all when it comes to the supply phase. Yes, we can now check for the Franco units to move, and they will have some more stuff to do thanks to the reinforcements now. Alright, Nationalists get 4 infantry battalions in this turn. They are pretty weak units, but even so they might be handy. So they are entering from the zones S and T. So they are here. Let me check. 106 T, and these 3 battalions from the S, and we also get a single tank company that enters from the N. It is here. Like I said before, we can resign from any of these units, but as for now I need all of them. So no, I'm not going to resign from any of them. And next we get a number of air points. We get 8 air points, marked them here, and I can spend some to destroy enemy bridges, or I can just resign from some of these victory points and add them to my unused forces to get more victory points. I think I will use I will spend 6 of them. So how? I am going to spend 3 first to attack this bridge. I am spending 3 points, so here is the table for the bombers attack, and we get 3, and if we use 5 points, we have to get 2 or 3 or 11 or 12. So my first roll for this bridge, yeah, I made it. I get 12. So this bridge goes kaboom. It is destroyed. And my other 3 points will be used here to destroy, to attempt to destroy this bridge. 3! Wow! These were pretty lucky rolls. So these 2 bridges goes out, and I spent I spent 6 of my points. So I still have 2, and I declare to keep these 2 unused. So they will be added to my total victory points number. Alright, that's all when it comes to the preparation. We can go into the nationalist movement phase. So let's check it out. What I am going to do with my nationalists. They have to retreat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This artillery has to go. 1, 2, 3. This cavalry will retreat to this town. Now this battalion is in problems because it managed to keep this position, but it might be surrounded easily, so I would have to 1, 2, 3. I wonder if it will be able to retreat. We will find out soon. Now what do I have here? I might do something 1, 2, 3, 4 and destroy this Republican headquarters, which was not wise enough to stay on the hex without any other friendly units. So because of that, this headquarters is eliminated. It was very stupid for me to leave it close to the enemy forces without any other units nearby. Yes, very stupid. Now, this cavalry regiment will attempt to reorganize, and this infantry brigade. I think it's not wise to attack these Republicans here. So 1, 2, 3, and they will fortify themselves. I just need more units here to make any successful counterattack. Maybe this battalion. 1, 2, 3. And next, my reinforcements. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, my tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, that's almost everything. Well, almost. 1, 2, 3. And that's all, I think. Yes, that's all. I'm not going to attack anywhere. Well, yes, I will do. I will try to attack this artillery. It has 1 strength point when it's fighting, so I have 2 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the commander, so it's 3 to 1, 8, it is B2, so 1, 2, and it has to make a check for disorganization. It is fine. But because of that, we closed a supply road for these units. That went quite nicely. Okay, so let's check for the supply units of Nationalists. Now they have 1 hex only here, so they have a supply. Same. Oh no, this road is controlled by Republicans, so they are definitely out of supply. Pretty interesting. So let's mark them with out of supply, and they as well. Need to find a counter. Alright. So that's all for now. Yes, that's all for Nationalists. I think they are doing quite fine. They managed to destroy enemy headquarters and keep Gandesa in their hands, and reinforcements are on their way. Alright, we are starting with turn 3. I marked captured cities with Republican flags, and now I have to place my new bridges. First one goes here, the other one goes here, the light bridge will go here, and the other light bridge will go here. Okay, and so I suffered 2 step losses so far. Oh, even more. 1, 2, and 3. So I can introduce one of my reinforcements. I think this will be this brigade, and it will enter the game from this zone. Here. Okay, that's all. Let's carry on with turn 1. So, I will fortify this Republican cavalry here. Now this infantry will go 1, 2, 3, and 4. These tanks will be fortified here, and this artillery will go here. Now, here we have a complicated situation because of this units will be marked as out of supply till at the end of this turn. So I will fortify this brigade, and these guys will attack here to get the supply back. Okay, now here I need to move faster. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now this lone nationalist battalion might be a problem if I want to get rid of them. This cavalry, 1, 2, these tanks, I will give them support of artillery. I hope it will be enough. Maybe this artillery as well. 1, 2, and now this brigade, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This brigade, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should be fine. Now here, this La Fatarella is going to be my next target. 1, 2, 3, 4. They are out of supply as well. Now this brigade is weakened, so I will fortify itself in this town to protect this bridge. These guys are out of supply, so I will need to wait till they will get their supply back. Otherwise it would be useless to attack with them. They would be too weak. This brigade will just enter here. And I think that's all when it comes to my Republican units movement. Maybe I should move this artillery closer. Okay, let's calculate combat. I will start here. So what I have, 10 against 5. It's 5 to 1, 6 to 1 because of the tanks, and 5 to 1 because of the enemy headquarters, 4 to 1 because of the minor river, 3 to 1 because of the fortification. So it's because of the town. So it's 3 to 1, and it is 8. It is B2. So they have to retreat 1, 2. These tanks will take this place, and this organization check for nationalists, they are fine. Alright, next battle goes here. I have 5, 10, 14 against 2. It's 7 to 1, 8 to 1 because of the column shift of tanks, 7 to 1 because of the woods, 6 to 1, 5 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 6 to 1, it is 9, in the 6 to 1 it is B2 and the dot. So they are eliminated because they would have to retreat 2 hexes and they cannot. But we also have to make a disorganization checks for Republicans. First for the cavalry, they are fine. Next for tanks, they are fine. Okay, the next battle goes here. We have 9, 13, 21, 29, 29, 37. We have 37 against 2, 4 and 6. 37 against 6 is 6 to 1, 7 to 1 because of the commander, 8 to 1 because of the 3 units of the same division, so we have 8 to 1. Next we have 7 to 1 because of the fortification, 6 to 1 because of the fortification in the town, 5 to 1 because of the town, 4 to 1, 3 to 1 because of the hills. So it's 3 to 1 and 6. 3 to 1 and 6 is B2, so they have to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2, 1, 2, and let's make a disorganization check for them. They are fine. Now we have to do disorganization check for the defenders, for the attackers, because there was a dot. So first for this stack, they are fine. For the division, it is fine. So they can move 1, 2 and eliminate this artillery. Now that's bad for Frankist. 1 and 2. Because you can make your pursuit in such a way, you can you have to occupy the hex which was occupied before by the enemy, and then you might move 1 hex out of the enemy retreat road. So I was able to move here because of that, and this quite important crossroads is now controlled by the Republicans. Sorry. Okay, that's all. Yes, that's all. So we can go to the supply phase. So they are in supply now because we get this bridge back. They are in supply. They are all in supply. They are. So they are too, because there is a bridge here. So we can remove, and they are not. Yeah, they are not, because there is no bridge here. I forgot to place a bridge here. That was my mistake. So they are out of supply. Okay, so that's all when it comes to Republicans. Yes, that's all. We can go to the Nationalists. Okay. First thing first, I get the reinforcements. 4 infantry brigades, 1 infantry battalion, 1 artillery, and 1 tank company. What I'm going to do is to resign with one of these brigades. I think. Yes, I will resign with these brigades, with these 2 brigades, so they will go out of the game, and I get some victory points. So all the other units are going to enter the game. So they are entering from the S, tanks and artillery from N, and 84 from the M. I will show you this soon, but as for now we also get 10 bombers points. And what I'm going to do is to first, I'm spending 3 of them to attack this bridge. Let's make a roll. 9 with the 3. It is a miss. I will spend another 3 to attack this bridge. Or maybe this. 8, it is a failure, and then I will spend remaining 4 points to attack this stack. Now let's make it. Hope it will be lucky. I think not. 4 with the bomber attack. No, it is quite good. We get D. This means that this stack is disorganized. This is pretty cool, because it will slow down their progress a bit. Okay, that's all when it comes to the Air Force. You can see I used all of my air bomber points. I don't get any to remove from the game. So let's go and move our Nationalists now. We will start here. Now they are retreating. They are moving here as well. This cavalry is about to fortify itself. I think I should move them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. Cannot move any further. And now them. Oh, they will be still out of supply. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all. Now here I think I will fortify this battalion. And 1, 2, they will move here. Now these guys are going to attack, supported by these tanks. Who knows? I don't know if it will be enough, but maybe. Now they are reorganized. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They might join this attack, so it will be much more effective. And now our reinforcements. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from the west 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care about these Republicans here because they are on the other side of the major river, so their zone of controls are not effective against my units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think that's all when it comes to the Nationalists. I think yes. So any combat? Yeah, we have some. We have one here. So let's count. 2, 4, 6 against 2. It's 3 to 1, 4 to 1 because of the commander, and 2 to 1 because of the star. So we have, sorry, we have 3 to 1, 4 to 1, and 5 to 1. So we have 5 to 1. Now we have 4 to 1 because of the star, and 3 to 1 because of the town. So it's 3 to 1. Let's make a roll. 9. 9 in 3 to 1. It is B1. So they have to retreat 1 hex. And this city is taken back by the Nationalists. Any other combat? No. I don't see anything. So we have a supply phase for the Nationalists. Now they are in supply because there is a road here on the adjacent hex. They are not, so we have to flip the counter on the side with 2. And now, starting with the next turn, they might have problems. But as for now, no. All the other Nationalist units are in supply. So that's good. We can finish turn 3.